Hagen. Oh, Uta Hagen.
Started.
Uta
Hagen. Hello! I'm Jamie Swag Lien.
I'm Issa Swag Rodriguez.
And I'm Sam Swag Carter.
Welcome to our vlog,
Swag Cubed. We hope you enjoyed our little photo montage, and we would love to thank our band Uncle Moon for being here with us today. You guys rock! Today we're going to be talking about the iconic actor, teacher, and writer, Uta Hagen.
Okay, I started it.
Welcome to the biography section.
Uta Hagen was born on June 12, 1919 in Göttingen, Lower Saxony, Germany, and died on January 14, 2004 at the age of 84. Her family emigrated to the United States in 1924, and she was raised in Madison, Wisconsin.
She knew she wanted to be an actor at the age of 9 when she saw the play St. Joan, which she later starred in the role of St. Joan. Uta Hagen made her professional debut in 1937 at the age of 18 as Ophelia in a production of Hamlet in Dennis, Massachusetts. In 1938, she made her Broadway debut as Nina in the Luntz production of The Seagull. She then went on to perform in 22 Broadway productions. Uta Hagen was married to actor Jose Ferrer in the 1940s, and then in 1947, Uta taught acting at the Herbert Berghoff Studio together with her husband. They ended up training generations of actors.
In 1948, she reinvented Blanche Dubois for the national tour of A Streetcar Named Desire with Anthony Quinn, and then succeeded Jessica Tandy's radically different Blanche for the Broadway run the next year. She starred in such classics as Shaw's St. Joan and Turgov's A Month in the Country, and in 1962, she created Martha in Albies, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. She has also appeared in many TV specials and several films.
Hagen and her husband knew actor Paul Robeson from a production of Othello. Her connection to the outspoken Robeson, as well as her own political beliefs, landed Hagen on the unofficial Hollywood blacklist. This was during the Red Scare of the 1950s, which involved writers, directors, and actors who were suspected of harboring Communist Party sympathies. She considered the shutout to be a good thing in the end. After the fear of communism began to wane, Hagen later reflected that it, quote, kept me pure, end quote. After being blacklisted, she went on to write her 2 books, Respect for Acting in 1973 and A Challenge for the Actor in 1991. These 2 books were the foundation of her long-lasting impact on the dynamics of theater education today.
We will be back to talk about Uta Hagen's techniques after this short break.
Uta Hagen. Uta Hagen. Oh, Uta Hagen.
Hello everyone, my name is Uta Hagen, and today I'm going to give you a tour of my awards. This is my Tony Award I won in 1951. This is my Drama Critics Award. And this is the Donaldson Award. All of those are for the play The Country Girl. Thank you. This is my 1963 Tony Award for my acting in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Oh, this is a good one, thank you. This is my special 1999 Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement. Thank you. 1999 Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Also an iconic year because Sam Carter, Issa, and Jamie, also known as Swag Cubed, were born. In 2002, I received the National Medal of the Arts. In addition to honorary doctorates from Smith College, DePaul University, and Worcester College. In 1981, I was inducted into the Theater Hall of Fame. In 1983, into the Wisconsin Theater Hall of Fame, and July 1986, I received the Mayor's Liberty Medal in New York City. In 1987, I was given the John Houseman Award and the Camp Ostala Award for Distinguished Service. But awards don't really mean much.
Welcome to the technique section.
Hagen was regarded as one of the fiercest and most commanding female presences ever to grace the American stage. Playbill described her as a demanding, dominating presence on stage and off, rigid in her commitment to her craft and a ferocious performer. I believe she will be most remembered for her work as an author and acting teacher. Her books, Respect for Acting, which was written in 1973, and A Challenge for the Actor, written in 1991, are still used today. According to her biography on the Women's International Center website, the influential books grew out of decades of collaboration and exploration of the actor's craft.
The book Respect for Acting is commonly used today as a textbook of sorts for many beginner actors. She created several exercises that help actors to create their environment and live in it realistically. She calls these the object exercises. We have discussed this in class, but in the book she defines the two kinds of actors. The first being the representational actor, who imitates a character's behavior. They think of their physicality at all times. They try to make the faces their character would make. They try to act like them to an extreme extent. It's kind of like impersonation. Then, the presentational actor, who focuses less on how they are coming across and instead believes that they will portray their character correctly and the most realistically when they can find their character in themselves. In her first book, she talks about substitution, but in her second book, she renames this technique transference. Transference is a technique propounded by Hagen. Transference is the process of attempting to find counterparts from your own experience for the people, places, and things you interact with in the course of your performance.
It becomes a bit confusing, as it is very similar to another technique called emotional memory, which she also explains in her book. The reason is that both techniques rely on the actor's personal experience, but one is a rehearsal technique, and one is a technique for preparation, or how I'm interpreting the table work of a character. Transference is only a part of the homework process, the process of preparing to rehearse and perform in a character. Uta Hagen is explicit on this point. She says in her book, "You do not attempt to mentally dangle your transference in front of another actor as you play a scene. In that moment, you want to be fully engaged with the other actor. In the moment, to coin a phrase. The transference is part of the homework. It is part of the process of finding correspondences between people, places, and things in your own life and that of the character. So, to put it in action, you might remind yourself about a transference just before you go on to play a scene. But while you are acting, it should not be on your mind."
Emotional memory, on the other hand, is rehearsal/performance technique. It is a way of trying to use your past experience to induce an emotional state that is somehow appropriate for a given scene. So, your attention is divided between your partner and the past experience. Something Uta Hagen discusses in Respect for Acting that I really vibe with is her belief that actors need more than just talent. She believes we need an all-round arts education that includes training of the voice and body, and a point of view about the world. She believes theaters must have an educated point of view of the world to be successful.
She was also a very highly revered acting teacher who influenced many great artists that we know and love today. As part of her long and legendary teaching career, Hagen developed many talents, such as those of Matthew Broderick, Sigourney Weaver, Jack Lemmon, Whoopi Goldberg, and many others. And she was even a vocal and accent coach to Judy Garland. She believed a performance should change in the course of the run, depending on the identity of the other actors, the audience's response, and the actress's mood and temperament. She was heard saying, "If you go on with another actor and your performance does not change, you are a bad actor."
Please enjoy this video of Uta Hagen doing her thing with celebrity guest Whoopi Goldberg.
When I go to the theater, if I can see the acting, I already don't like it. In other words, if it's the performer and his mind and his speculations and what he fixes and arranges is visible to me, it's bad acting, in my opinion. When I believe that there's a human being in action up there, in that moment, alive, right there and then, I get spellbound.
She's like a force of nature, but she's not like a typhoon or anything. She's like the summer coming, you know. You start to realize that it's hot outside, so you take off your jacket, and then it's really hot, and then you gotta take off your shirt, and you hope that your undershirt is okay, you know. And then it gets really hot, and you have to decide whether you're gonna get buck naked or just put a bathing suit on.
Now, how did you feel today?
Sometimes I just get so... I want to do it all so much that I lose my grounding. It's like it just all comes up at once. You know, you can't get...
You know what's the matter with you? No, I mean it, because it's true for many of us. You aren't functioning as an actress. You're an actress. You're a born actress. You should be on stage all the time, and you're not. And then the pent up, I'm gonna start crying.
Destination is probably the thing that I think about the most. I can't tell you how many times people have been like, okay, in this scene you're gonna pace. You're gonna be pacing, and you're waiting for the phone call, and I'm like, no, I don't pace. I don't pace because Uta told me not to ever pace. Because nobody just walks back and forth without a reason.
Yeah. By the way, that's what I want to talk about, that some of your activities, when the activities state pieces of business, you're using them wrong. In other words, when you see, if I'm hanging up pants, I'm hanging them over this thing. Now, when this, that they're right, becomes more important than what I'm hearing here, this is not serving you. Doesn't mean that I don't do this, but you see, if I'm doing this and she says, say to me, I want you out of here. Okay, now wait.
I want you out of this apartment.
What do you mean out of here?
We certainly don't think that we're going to live here together, do you, after tonight?
Whatever, but then I go on with this. But I don't have to finish my piece of business. Do you follow?
Yes, yes.
And the same with the tooth. You thought, well, I might do that there. So now it becomes the toothbrushing. You stop hearing, and you might head here, and you might start that. Then she's saying something. You might never get to it. Do you follow? But when that becomes, then I have to do that, and how does the cap open, and how would I do this here? Then you stop hearing and connecting.
Okay.
That's why I always say do all the activities before you ever learn the lines.
And you know that if you are not prepared for her, or if you're getting ready to waste her time, it's really not a good idea, you know?
We hope you enjoyed that video.
Next, we'll be talking about how in her book, Respect for Acting, Uta identified 9 questions an actor should ask themselves as they prepare to take on a character. It's all about being as specific as possible. These 9 questions were later reframed into the 6 steps in her book, A Challenge for the Actor, which is what we have used in some assignments already for class.
Here are some silly ways to remember the 9 questions. Question 1. Who are you?
I'm Issa Swag Rodriguez.
Question 2. What time is it?
What time do you want it to be?
Question 3.
Where am I?
Question 4.
What surrounds you?
Microwave popcorn?
Question 5. What are the given circumstances? They are man with a chainsaw chasing after you.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Question 6. What is your relationship?
Lovers.
Question number 7. What do you want?
I'm looking for my pencil. Have you seen my pencil? I found my pencil!
Question 8. What's in your way?
Nate.
Question 9. How do you get what you want?
Destroy Nate.
Here's a video of the iconic Uta Hagen telling a story.
Could you tell the opera story, the one about true intentions?
Oh. What I always say, if on stage, a true intention, it's like a chorus line. It's all the chorus girls are lined up, and one of them takes a peek at the audience to see if her agent is there, you know? It's like being shot by a bullet. Now everybody is singing and going, and this one person goes, and everybody jumps, you know. So the story, Herbert and I went to a dress rehearsal of Lohengrin, God help us, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I kept saying, I don't want to go 10 o'clock in the morning to a 3-hour opera. I just can't bear it. Herbert said, come on, it'll be interesting. So we went. And on stage, as the curtain went up, there were rocks and levels, and later on swans going by, and I don't know what all. And people with singers with horns, and the furs, and then long robes and everything. And there, on one of these rocks, were tons of extras. And right in front was an extra who had obviously never been on stage in his life and didn't know what he was doing there. So while they're singing and going and carrying on, he had on one of these armor hats, and he had the knitted chainmail gloves, you know. Wait a minute. And the curtain went up. He looked, there were half a dozen people, and the director, and Mr. Bing, the head of the Met. Then somebody here sang very loudly, and he went. He started looking at the scenery. We started looking at the other, and then after he had a lot of looks like this, and we were weeping, he got bored with all that stuff that was going on around, and he began to. And then his hat started to bother him. It went on an hour. And then finally the hat couldn't bear it anymore. Well, anyhow, an hour and a half. It was an experience not to be forgotten. This is all you could see on that stage, no matter how many people were screaming and yelling and choruses were singing and all the swans were moving and Lohengrin and all you could see was this man. Beautiful. Okay. Good.
So, would you guys use Uta Hagen's techniques in your own work?
Yeah, I think I would, Issa, Swag. That's a good question. I think I'd use it in my work because it's a good way to help you sort of specify your character and really, like, especially the 6 steps, it helps you to kind of flush out your character and the moment specifically that your character's in, or like their state of being. It really helps you to sort of understand that character so that in the moment when you put it up into rehearsal, you're better able to portray that character realistically or become that character.
Yeah, I definitely think that it was helpful. Like, we used it for the monologues, and it was like things that I hadn't thought about before, and it was really helping me like dive into the character. So I think that's definitely something that I will use in the future.
Yeah, I think it takes you out of your own moment and kind of forces you to think about the moment that your character's in directly before or during the monologue or scene or whatever it might be. So yeah.
Here are some quotes that we found inspiring from Uta herself.
The knowledge that every day there is something more to learn, something higher to reach for, something new to make for others, makes each day infinitely precious.
Overcome the notion that you must be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary.
More than in any other performing arts, the lack of respect for acting seems to spring from the fact that every layman considers himself a valid critic.
Thanks for watching! If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe. Stick around if you want to see some hilarious bloops.
Swag cubed out!
Siri,
How may I help you?
call me Swag Cubed.
I'm gonna stuff you in there. Get in.
I'm not strong enough.
Not with one hand, but with two.
Really cool. Jamie, would you use Uta Hagen's techniques in your own work? Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes.
To answer that question, yes.
To answer that question, it's a big old...
It's a big fat, yes.
All right, so...